Well, good evening and welcome to our meeting of the Finance, Regeneration and Property Scrutiny Select Committee. For the benefit of our YouTube watcher, members of the committee are present here in the chamber, and these members will be voting on proposals this evening. Other members of the council are also in attendance and/or participating via MS Teams and can take part in the discussions, ask any questions, but cannot vote. Your attention is drawn to agenda item 1, which sets out the guidance and how meetings will be conducted, including the ground rules. And before we start our formal business, we're going to confirm attendance of the voting members by doing a roll call. So if I can ask Alison to do that, that would be fantastic.
Thank you. You can confirm you're present when I call your name in alphabetical order. Councillor Benison.
Present.
Councillor Bishop.
Here.
Councillor Boxall.
Present.
Councillor Cannon.
Present.
Councillor Chapman.
Present.
Councillor Clokey.
Present.
Councillor Harman.
Present.
Councillor Palmer.
Present.
Councillor Parry.
Present.
Councillor Pilgrim.
Present.
Councillor Rhodes.
Here.
We've had apologies from Councillor Tanner, substituted by Councillor Hudson.
Present.
And Councillor Williams.
Present.
I can confirm you have 13 voting members present this evening, Chair.
Thank you very much for that. Can I just ask the officers who are present to introduce themselves before we go any further?
Good evening, Chair. Adrian Stanfield, Director of Central Services.
Good evening, everyone. Stuart Edwards, Head of Administrative and Property Services.
Robert, do you want to just introduce yourself as you're here online?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Let me move my screen down. Robert Stiles, Director of Street Scene, Leisure and Technical Services.
Thank you very much. OK, we've dealt with apologies and I think we've also dealt with substitution. I don't think we need to do any more on that. Declarations of interest. Do any members have any declarations that we need to know about? Particularly looking at. Thank you very much. Minutes. Are we happy for me to sign the minutes as correct from the last meeting? I'll do that now. OK, so we're on to matters for recommendation to Cabinet, and we're going to kick off with the Riverside Route Lighting Project, which I think, Robert, you're going to take the lead on.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I'm also joined by Dean Radmore, who's done most of the work on this scheme, so I mustn't take any credit today. But yeah, thank you. And hopefully this is a positive report on the proposed lighting of the Riverside Walk, which, if members don't know, runs between Town Lock and Vale Road in Tunbridge. The report shares the outcome of a feasibility study that we undertook and then presents a capital plan evaluation to enable the scheme to progress later in the year. The scheme has been a long-term aspiration of local ward members in that area, and now we have the ability to fund it in full from developer contributions, the UK Shared Prosperity Fund, and also the business rates pool. We're now in a position where it can proceed. The final outcome will be a very high quality lighting scheme to create a safe and secure pathway, which is a popular area for people to link between the industrial estate and the town centre. And if members are minded to recommend the scheme to Cabinet tonight, and obviously subject to Cabinet's approval, we can move into the design stage and then, as they say, get on with it and get it delivered. Thank you. Dean and I are more than happy to answer any questions you may have, Chairman.
Thanks, Robert. I mean, look, from my point of view, where I'm sitting, this seems like a no-brainer. It's being funded from somebody else's pocket, and we really ought to crack on with it. But if anybody's got any comments that they'd like to make, now is your chance, really. Mark?
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm not a member of your committee. Obviously, this is as has been explained, an extremely long standing ambition to improve lighting and access and safety along here. There's a few technical issues that I just would like clarification of. I was intrigued by some of it. So there's at 7.52 it talks about having light sensitivity, so the lights would come on as people would pass, or they're triggered by motion. So recently we've had incidents where people have actually been lurking in the undergrowth. There's been a couple of really disturbing incidents down there. So can somebody give me some kind of reassurance that that wouldn't be a problem, that people wouldn't be able to sort of just lurk unseen there? And the other thing, there's another aspect of it where it says that you can have low level lighting as well, which seems to be able to eradicate that problem. And it says that the intensity of the lighting is going to change as you go along, as people move down the pathway. I can see like a wave of as you go along there. If you're on a bike or something, there'll be a wave of illumination. So can I just have a reassurance about that, please?
Thanks, Mark. I don't know the answer to that. Rob or Dean?
Dean, do you want to?
Yes, yeah, thank you, Chair. The lighting proposed in the feasibility study is going to be a consistent lighting. There is going to be no wave effect within that lighting. We have to consider some of the wildlife that is also there, which is why the lighting levels have been shown in the feasibility study has been lower, because the higher the lighting, the more you remove the want of bats and the like to utilise that area. So it's really important to obviously maintain that as much as possible. So that's why the proposal in the feasibility study, until the full design is done, we won't know exactly what is proposed, but that is the guide that the feasibility provides, a guide that the designers will work to and from.
Thanks, Dean. Robert?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I was just trying to give Councillor Hood some reassurance that Kent Police and their sort of specialist advisors in this sort of antisocial behaviour have considered this. We will liaise with them again at the design stage. So anything we place in there will be appropriate in terms of their comments and approval as well.
Thanks, Robert. Mark?
Thank you. This, as Robert said earlier, and he introduced it brilliantly, so we don't need to go over that again. This does, of course, introduce light where there is dark, and there are residents down there, and those residents may or may not be affected by this extra light. So just to make sure that we're all happy, I'd like to add a fourth recommendation, Chairman, if someone would support me, please. And the words are similar to: members have physical sight of likely intended columns by means of a demonstration in a low light at a future meeting of this committee.
Okay, just give us a couple of seconds to put something together there. Hold on.
Chair, I'll be happy to second that.
From Councillor Rhodes is that members have physical sight of likely lighting columns at low light at a future meeting.
Okay, so are we happy to approve this to go forward, subject to seeing those light poles?
Sorry, Chairman, can I just come in on that? It's just, I don't want to be pedantic about the wording, but I think that says at a future meeting. I think it would be better, rather than me and Dean carrying a lighting pole up to the Kingshill offices if perhaps we could arrange something on site in that regard. So if we bring the contractor, and then if local members or other members want to come down and view it, because I think it's a very good point. After after a little while in waiting for the scheme due to the funding being available through partnership funding, we don't want to get it wrong or put up something that members don't feel that they're getting. But I think it might be better to do that on site rather than at an actual future meeting of this board.
Sorry, point of order, Chair. We've just agreed that we can't go back, can we?
Oh, okay.
I think you're probably right, but I think from a practical point of view, we can probably agree that that's an acceptable solution. I think you're probably right I think you're probably right in terms of from a technical point of view, but in reality, will it make any difference to us here if we kind of bend the rules slightly? And
Chair, I'm more than happy to sit with you.
Chair, perhaps if I can suggest that what's been agreed is that you will have demonstration at a future meeting of this committee. Maybe you could interpret that future meeting to be one that didn't necessarily have to be a formal meeting of this committee, but we would ask you to attend at a location in Tunbridge for an informal meeting as members.
happy with that? Everybody in agreement? Okay, so that recommendation is carried. Okay, can we move on to the work programme? If anybody has anything to add to the work programme, I'm happy to take an email on that. There's lots of blank faces here, so perhaps we can take emails in future. We'll move on to item 8, which we don't have any urgent items. And as we move on to item 9, we are going to move into part 2. So I'm going to exclude the press and the hordes of public that are here. We're going to have to stop the YouTube.
Yeah, just for the formal proceedings, the rest of the committee, please agree to excluding the press and public so we can move into part 2. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, do we need to be notified that? Okay, bear with us, please.
Joe, can you just confirm when the YouTube has been stopped, please? Thank you.
Stream has ended.